In a large bowl, whisk together the flour and brown sugar. Scatter the cubes of butter into the flour mixture and use a pastry cutter to blend in the butter until the mixture is crumbly. Stir in the pecans and set aside a 3/4 cup portion of the mixture for the topping. Spray an 8-inch baking dish with cooking spray. Pour the remaining crumb mixture into the baking dish and use your fingers to press it into an even layer. Bake at 350 degrees for 15 minutes or until the edges of the crust are lightly browned. In a large bowl, use a hand mixer to beat softened cream cheese and coconut sugar until smooth. Add pumpkin puree, eggs, pure vanilla extract, ground cinnamon, and pumpkin pie spice. Mix until well blended. Pour the pumpkin cheesecake filling over the crumb crust. Sprinkle the remaining crumb mixture evenly over the filling. Bake for 30 to 35 minutes or until the topping is golden brown. Cut the pumpkin pecan cheesecake into a dozen bars and serve.
When your sweet tooth hungers for a candy bar, make our copycat Snickers bar. Place 1 cup of chocolate chips and 3 tablespoons of peanut butter in a double boiler. No double boiler? No problem. You can make your own double boiler with a saucepan and a heat-proof bowl that can sit on and slightly inside the saucepan. Just make sure the bowl doesn't touch the water in the saucepan. First things first, prepare a baking dish. Coat the bottom of the dish with cooking spray and line it with parchment paper. Pour the chocolate mixture into the prepared baking dish. Use a spatula to smooth it out evenly. This will keep your candy from sticking to the dish and give you the option of lifting the whole layered dessert out of the dish and onto a cutting board when it's done. Inspired by a treats affair, satisfy your craving with a homemade confection that tastes even better than the grocery store checkout line temptation. In a medium bowl, combine marshmallow fluff, peanut butter, and powdered sugar. Mix these ingredients until it forms a dough. Place the dough on top of the chocolate layer and use your fingers to evenly spread it out. Sprinkle with peanuts and gently press the peanuts into the dough. Voila! Layer 2. On to the caramel layer, also known as layer 3. Place caramels and cream in a saucepan and cook, stirring constantly until the caramel mixture is melted and smooth. Immediately pour the melted caramel over the dough and use the back of a wooden spoon to evenly spread it out. Place the baking dish in the refrigerator to set up the caramel layer. For the final layer, end as you began. Melt the remaining chocolate chips and peanut butter in a double boiler or small heat-proof bowl over boiling water. When the mixture is melted and smooth, spread the chocolate layer evenly over the caramel. You've done it! Now for the copycat Snickers taste test. Refrigerate the candy for 10 minutes or until the chocolate layer is set. Using a sharp knife, cut the giant candy bar into smaller bars. Ready, set, close your eyes and take a bite. It's pure yum! We are the first to admit that the idea of making brownies with black beans sounds strange and a bit unappetizing. But hear us out. When you combine black beans with other ingredients in a food processor, something magical happens. You can't taste the beans at all. Blend until the mixture is completely smooth. We're going for no chunks, not one. This recipe gives you some leeway as you can use either honey, maple syrup, or agave to add sweetness. Stir the chocolate chips into the bean mixture and pour into a greased baking dish. Sprinkle a few more chocolate chips on top if you want. Bake the brownies for 15 to 18 minutes. Enjoy!
Holidays, birthdays, and other occasions sometimes leave us with lots of candy hanging around the house. Not a great situation, especially if you have kids. When life hands you extra candy, use it to make a delicious dessert that can be shared with the entire family. Loaded cookie bars are an easy, yummy way to handle leftover candy. You know, those chocolate bars still in your house because the trick-or-treat traffic was light this year. The ones that are calling your name each time you pass the bowl. Think of them as ingredients and you'll have no end to the recipes you can sweeten up. For instance, these bars. The little cookie monsters in your house will love them, but they'll have to get to them before the adults do. Sea salt adds that irresistible sweet and salty combo to the smooth texture of this dessert. Think Blondie bars blended with Oreo pieces and studded with Reese's Cups, M&Ms, and Snickers pieces. You can adapt this recipe to whatever candy you have on hand. For example, if your neighbors go wild with the Twix bars this Halloween, chop some bars up and sub them in for the M&Ms. Your loaded cookie bars might be a bit different every time, but they'll always be delicious.
In a large bowl, whisk together flour, baking soda, cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, and salt. The generous quantity of spices give these pumpkin bars an enticing fall flavor. In the bowl of a stand mixer, beat the butter until creamy. Add the brown sugar and cream the butter and sugar together. Beat until the mixture is light and fluffy. Add in the egg and vanilla, then scoop pumpkin puree into the bowl and beat until the mixture is well combined. Combine the dry ingredients slowly to the pumpkin mixture with the mixer on low speed. Mix just until combined, then set aside. In a clean mixing bowl, beat softened cream cheese until smooth. Add in the sugar, egg, and vanilla until well combined. Spray the bottom and sides of a 9x13-inch baking dish with cooking spray and add a sheet of parchment paper to the bottom. Spread 2/3 of the pumpkin batter onto the dish. Spoonfuls of the sweetened vanilla cream cheese batter are then dropped on top, followed by the remaining pumpkin batter. Use a spatula to gently swirl the pumpkin and cream cheese mixtures together. Toss pepitas and ground cinnamon and sprinkle them onto the pumpkin cream cheese batter to add a lovely pumpkin seed flavor and crunch. Bake the cake for 35 to 40 minutes and allow the bars to cool.